This brain surgery could revolutionize the way doctors treat severe substance abuse. It's already changed everything for 35-year-old Jared Buckhalter.
Do you think this device saved your life?
I believe it did.
2 years ago, Jared was the first person in the U.S. ever to have electrodes implanted to stimulate his brain in the hopes of lessening his desire for drugs. A star wide receiver in high school in a small town in Pennsylvania, he was being recruited to play in college. But when that didn't happen, his life took a turn.
I felt that I'd let everybody down, and, that just really put me in a bad spot mentally. And the only thing that I knew to use to cope with that was pain pills.
For years, he spiraled downward.
I had resolved to the fact that he was going to die. Just knew, well, he was going to crash a car or OD or something, but something was going to happen.
You drove a lot of people away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Family, friends.
A lot. Got to the point where I literally had nobody,
When his therapist suggested the experimental surgery, he was scared. But after meeting with Dr. Ali Rezai, he agreed to be the very first. Rezai implanted a kind of brain pacemaker in his chest to send electrical impulses to the reward center deep in his brain.
Our goal is to increase your dopamine slowly using deep brain stimulation so that you don't need to seek drugs to chase after that dopamine.
The electrodes also stimulate the frontal lobe, hoping to encourage better decision-making.
It has to be within the millimeter, right?
Exactly.
We watched in July as they operated on their third patient, James Fisher. They woke him to test the device.
What are you feeling? Any change you're noticing overall for you? Happier.
So this is where you're living now?
Yep.
4 weeks later, we met James at his sober living house in Morgantown, the very same place Jared now works.
I'm coming up on 2 years of continuous sobriety.
Both men say the surgery was the tool they needed to commit to recovery.
It's like somebody covered you up with a warm blanket, and just the feeling of everything's okay. I used to have a really hard time making decisions.
You feel more clear now?
Yeah.
Has it changed you?
So it has. In every aspect of my life, it has changed me for the better.
Has it made it easier to stay sober?
It's made it much easier.
Both have strong family support.
What has it been like for you? Like Christmas every day?
That was the way I described it. It was Christmas every day.
Do you think what you've gone through actually shows that addiction is something in part physiological?
Sure, it is definitely a brain disease, and I think that this only proves that.
He's proud that he's repaired relationships.
I became a much better son, brother, uncle, friend. I think that I'm finally the person that all of them hoped I would be.
Wow.
Yeah, Jared and James are doing so well. Another patient we should mention did relapse. They'll operate on a fourth patient soon, guys, and then they hope to do a bigger, more controlled study. And by the way, we have more on James and Jared and their stories and how this all works on NBCnews.com.
Yeah, it's not a magic bullet, though. He still has to decide each day to stay sober every single day.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a tool to help them. And also, I should mention that doctors are learning about substance abuse through the pacemakers that they have implanted in their chests. Those actually send back data now about their brain signals, right? And so they can look at how what's happening in the brain is associated with behavior and feeling. So they're hoping to kind of almost get like a marker for what in the brain. I know, it's crazy
But
science.
it's actually incredible because then it could also lead to other treatments. The more you understand what is the dynamic that produces addiction that some can overcome and others can't when it's brain chemistry.
Like
when
we know
isn't.
how a heart arrhythmia affects your heart. We know how an EKG can measure what's happening in your heart. Well, we need that for the brain.
It also seems to disavow the notion that addiction is somehow connected to some sort of like weakness.
It's a brain disease.
Clearly triggered by.
Well, Jared had a lot of guts to be the first one. Incredible.
And
nice
James,
to see
too.
him
Great guys.
Of those parents, Christmas every day. That really resonated.
That's a great story, Kate.
Thank you, Kate.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.